All right, welcome to the Ringside Reporter Recap Show. This is an immediate reaction show for the Canelo Alvarez and Rocky Fielding fight, if you want to call it that. I'll tell you what, man, I'll just jump right in here. That was horrible. And you know what? It wasn't Canelo's fault at all. I thought Canelo looked good. I thought that Canelo, no matter what, would have won this fight. But I got to be honest, man, Rocky Fielding looked like he was just there for a payday. I mean, he really did. I don't know. I mean, maybe, and I don't want to be too critical of the guy. And maybe I'll feel different about it after I get some sleep and wake up tomorrow morning. He didn't show up at all. I mean, he didn't look like he wanted to fight. He didn't look like he could fight. He looked like they got him off the street. And I mean, I know he's a fighter. He's a champion. He beat Tyrone Zouge for the title. Not that that's a huge deal in the boxing world, but hey, he's a champion. He's a fringe champion because he's, not the super champion. That's Callum Smith. But what in the world? What was his game plan, Beeb? This guy came in here and just got steamrolled. He didn't. I mean, he's about a foot taller than Canelo. He's got a 5-inch reach. Why in the world is he sitting on the ropes? Why in the world is he not using his jab? Why is he trying to pounce on Canelo? Why?
What a fight! No, just kidding, guys. They talked about their game plan beforehand. They said they were going to try and use their size, their reach, their height. But what else was he going to say going into this fight? I mean, he just never was a crafty fighter. We're taking nothing away from him. He was never a guy that really boxed from the outside. He always liked to mix it up. And that's not the style that was going to work for him tonight, mixing it up with a guy like this. I mean, this is going to sound blasphemous, and I don't want to get shit on too much for saying this, but Canelo looked like Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. in there. The way he was going, just the movements and everything. Canelo did what he had to do.
Do you remember? Let me ask you, Beeb, because you had mentioned JC. Do you remember the Chavez? And I think his name was Angel Hernandez, the guy he fought, and he was a real lanky guy.
Very
tall, lanky guy. And Chavez did the same. It was like watching that fight. I mean, only Angel Hernandez put up a fight.
Rocky Fielding looked a little bit tentative. He looked tight. He looked, nervous and stuff like that. I mean, it was a tough situation for him. And, it was a big ask, and he knew that going in, and Eddie Hearn knew that going in. And even Eddie Hearn, he didn't sound too confident in his fighter when he was being interviewed leading up to this fight either. He basically said this was a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And this, again, I'm not going to say anything bad about Rocky Fielding because it takes courage to get in there, but this possibly could have been a money grab. I mean, let's just face it.
Was he just getting paid? Come on, son. You saw the same fight I did. He offered no resistance. None.
And again, he knew that it was a tough fight going in. But what could he have really done to win the fight? Like what could he have done? He just didn't have the tools.
He could have stayed on the outside.
He could have at least tried to fight from the outside. That's true. That's true.
You know what? And I don't know. And again, we only caught a little snippet of it. They didn't really stay in the corners during the rounds.
Yeah.
But it didn't look like they were, I don't know what kind of instruction they were giving him here. But, my first instruction to him would have been stay off the ropes. I mean, that seems to be a no-brainer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, the shots he was going down on, listen, they were liver shots and, but some of them didn't look like liver. They looked like side shots.
Yeah. The second
liver shot is right under the, it's like you have to be under the body to catch that liver shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't just hit the side of your body and then that's not a liver shot. There's a difference. You have to pinpoint it. And I think that first one was, I don't know about that second one though. I don't know.
The second one didn't really look like it was anywhere near as devastating as the first one. But before that bell even rang, Rocky Fielding had a look on his face like, what the fuck am I doing here?
He looked like that in the dressing room.
Yeah, I mean, he just,
when they were interviewing him, he was real soft and real real confident. I'm like, this guy's gonna get murked out.
It was like a lamb going to slaughter. And again, you know, the guy's got a family. He needs to put food on the table. This was probably the biggest payday, obviously, of his
Oh
career.
yeah.
I don't begrudge him for taking the fight.
No,
But
I begrudge him for the way he fought, though.
yeah, but I get it. I get it. And maybe, you know, I just didn't see a way he could win this fight, because Canelo has a way of you know, getting underneath people's jabs. He knows how to step around shots. He knows how to work his way inside. And he can fight pretty good on the outside too when he has to. Offensively, Canelo has really developed. He's really put shots together well. He knows how to you know, create those openings. He knows how to dissect fighters now. He's not one-dimensional at all. He's very versatile. Punch selection is there. Gives you different looks every time. Well, it's really hard to gauge this guy, and it's hard to prepare for this guy. And even Golovkin in the second fight, even though I thought Golovkin won the second fight, I still thought that Canelo really showed us something different in that fight. And in this fight, he showed us the Julio Cesar Chavez. This was the Mexican style, I guess.
Yeah.
Because this was the perfect opponent to be able to showcase that Mexican style. But like I said, Canelo Alvarez, early in his career, you know, the big money punch was that left hook upstairs. Now he's got that right hand, and that right hand is setting up that body shot, that left hook to the body. And I believe he threw a right uppercut to the body, like a right 45. Was the first punch that he knocked him down with? That was a right hand, I believe, right?
And there was a left hook to the body, I thought.
Was it a left hook to the body? Because
yeah,
I thought
that looked like a solid liver shot. I mean, that looked like a solid body shot.
Because I was noticing how he was sneaking that right hand to the body too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was.
He was using that right hand to open up the left hook.
But that second body shot that he hit him with, it looked like it caught him on the side of the body, not in the liver.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. I couldn't remember if that first one was a left hook or right hand. But yeah,
and there's nothing on the side of your body. I mean, you know what I mean? You get hit with that shot and you go down. I don't know what you're doing. You know, I mean, what do you know? Unless he was still hurting from that first shot, you know, when it, you know, what you're trying to, you know, you're trying to pinpoint that liver shot when you throw that left hook to the body, you know, but he just looked like he hit him on the side.
Yeah.
Look, man, I don't know. I mean, you know, maybe, like I said, maybe I get some sleep. Maybe I feel different about it tomorrow morning, but I don't know.
But the interesting thing too, and I mentioned this, you know, about a fighter in his career. He just fought in September. So obviously, you know, we didn't expect him to face a killer going out this time. And they were so confident and they had no worries in the world that he actually still had cuts on his face from the Golovkin fight in September. I mean, who I've never seen you know, someone with cuts on their face you know, enter the ring like that. I mean, because he still had the cuts. You could see the cut right there and the cut on his eye from the Golovkin fight. And you know, the scars were still kind of like, you could tell they were healed, but there was like maybe only 75% healed. So I mean, if you're gonna have a guy fight active like this and you're gonna continue to you know, build his career, then obviously you can't fight Golovkin, you know, Golovkin like 5 times in a row, right? I mean, you can't do that. So I understand this fight, and from what I understand, the fight in May could possibly be a soft touch. I know they were talking about David Lemieux, which would have been another fight that wouldn't have been too taxing on him either.
Right.
But the big thing now is they already have the May date and the September date locked in. You know, people are going to be like wanting a big fight. They're going to be wanting a Danny Jacobs in May. It's probably not going to happen, but they should have someone like a Danny Jacobs caliber for September, or
I agree.
People are going to start questioning.
Well, you know what? And listen, man, I don't blame Canelo at all for this. I mean, we all knew going in Canelo's going to win.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's not going to, you know, and they, you know, especially, you know, 3 months out or whatever from his last fight, you know, he's going to win, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the way this guy Fielding fought, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Canelo did everything right. There's nothing. Listen, you wanted him to move up. I mean, he moved up. He fought a guy that is in the top 10. You know, he's got a belt. He did everything right. He didn't do anything wrong. And Canelo did what he was supposed to do, and that's get rid of this guy who didn't want to fight. My problem, I don't like, again, man, I thought Canelo fought great. I think that anybody would have had a tough time in there against him tonight. That being said, I don't think that guy wanted to fight.
Yeah.
He looked completely disinterested. He looked completely like a lamb. Like you said earlier, lamb going to slaughter.
Yeah,
that's my problem with the fight. The fact that he didn't show up. And Jason in the chat, I don't believe I'm about to say this, but he made a really good point. And he said that Liam Smith is a warrior compared to Rocky Fielding. And you know what? He's right. Because Liam Smith got bulldozed, but Liam Smith wanted to fight. And he sat there and fought. This guy offered up zero resistance. I mean, zero.
Yeah, he did.
And that's what's aggravating.
Yeah.
You know, you look at some of the undercard fights, and they were, there was someone, who was the guy, King Ryan fought, Ryan Garcia fought.
Yeah. He was game.
That guy was game. He was game.
Yeah.
He was throwing shots. He was getting outclassed and outgunned, but he was at least game.
Yeah.
Fonseca, what is it? Fonseca or something like that?
Fonseca, yeah.
One who fought Farmer. You know, at least he was game.
He was game too, yeah.
Fight. He lost the fight clearly, but at least he was game. This guy offered zero.
Yeah.
And he showed up for a payday. I mean, that's all it was. And you can't, I know Canelo's good, but you offered nothing in return. Nothing.
Got to at least try to use the jab. Got to at least try to, because you know the guy's ripping you to the body. So obviously the inside game isn't going to work for you. But again, can you turn this guy into a Pernell Whitaker in one training camp? I mean, this guy's never ever really been a boxer.
Well, you know what? You look at the Tyrone Zouge fight.
Yeah.
Go look at that. And he fought on the outside. He utilized his jab very well. I thought that, again, I mean, he did, when you looked at that fight, that's a different guy.
But
I don't know who showed up in there tonight.
Yeah, but he stepped to that guy, though. He kind of like.
Listen, Tyrone Zouge is no Canelo.
No.
Don't get it wrong. I understand that.
It wasn't like he was like boxing that guy. Like he was trying to outpunch that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, he fought in that fight on the outside in spots, but ultimately he ended up closing the distance and he started fighting him on the inside towards the end. You know what I mean? To get him out of there. So
is he going to look back on this? Let me ask you a question, man. Is he going to look back on this fight Fielding and know that he didn't give it his all? And will this haunt him in the sense that maybe I could have done better?
Well, do you think he went in there with the intent that I'm not going to try? Or do you think he went in there and he was just so caught up in the moment that he just had that, he was just intimidated and the intimidation didn't allow him to really let loose like he normally did.
I think it's a good point. I think
that's
a good point.
Because when you're starstruck by a situation, your body just it's hard to
that's a good point.
He was put in a situation that he was never put in before.
Yeah.
Against
could have just been awestruck by the moment.
I think he was starstruck by the moment. All week you could see he was kind of, I don't know, a little nervous. And even backstage, he looked nervous. He just looked tight. I don't want to put too much slack on the guy. I don't think the guy took the fight with the intention that I'm not going to try. But I think mentally he was defeated before he entered the ring.
Right.
Like Michael Spinks. Look at Michael Spinks. Michael Spinks had that look of, what the fuck am I doing here?
That's how he looked tonight. That's honestly how he looked.
Yeah, this was the Michael Spinks effect when Michael Spinks fought Tyson. And again, I'm not going to dump on the guy. I understand where you're coming from too, but I don't think he went in there with the mentality that I'm not going to try. I just think he was overwhelmed by the moment, and I
think you're probably right.
I think he was just very intimidated for looking at what he had in front of him. And I think
you're right. I think he came in knowing that he's going to win. I think that he comes in. I mean, he was very confident. He should have been confident if he's going to win. But yeah, I think maybe the moment got to him or something, because once he got hit, it looked like he was just. I think he just maybe he just froze under the lights. Maybe that's a better way of like you said.
I think he froze. Just froze up. And I guess like I was talking about future opponents for Canelo. The rumor was David Lemieux was going to be next, but my question is, can
Couldn't even
David?
make weight.
He couldn't make weight. He was hospitalized.
Hospitalized because he couldn't make weight.
So could they? Could that fight even happen now? Like
Jacobs, it's got to be Jacobs, right? Who else is it? Who else is it? De La Hoya said earlier this week, Canelo's got the May date, and it won't be Triple G or it won't be Jacobs. It had to be Lemieux. Lemieux's got to be out of it now. Who wants to see that fight?
So now,
wants to see that fight?
So now, who do you throw in there? Is it going to be Toronto Johnson now?
Right. I mean, it's got to be Jacobs. Yeah.
No one's.
Why not?
I don't know.
I mean, I'd like to see that fight. You don't like that fight?
I love it. I'm just thinking about what De La Hoya is going to do. I'm trying to think like De La Hoya, which is scaring me right now because I don't want to think like De La Hoya.
Thinking about fighting Dana White too.
Yeah, I don't want to think like De La Hoya because that guy's a nut job. But
yeah, he is.
Like I said, the guy's got a what does he got, an 11-fight deal?
Yeah, 10 fight now.
Yeah, they're not those fight just like Mayweather. Had his deal. You didn't start seeing the tougher fight like remember the first 3 fights were like pretty much, tailor-made opponents.
Yeah.
And then you didn't start seeing the iron to the end.
Yeah.
If we're gonna look at history, this is usually what happens.
I hear you. Yeah.
When you sign a fighter to a deal like this, they don't give you the iron to later, like the later fights. So he'll probably fight Toronto Johnson next, and then after that,
that's a terrible fight. I mean, that really is.
I just fight.
Didn't Johnson just get knocked out, or was that? No, I think that was the other guy. I can't think of his name.
Curtis Stevens knocked him out.
Yeah.
Before, but I'm not optimistic that we're going to get the iron on the front end of this deal. I'm just not optimistic about it, and I hope I'm wrong.
I hope so too.
Jacobs or Andre should definitely be the next opponents.
He should. Andre's fighting some who knows? This guy just some unknown.
He should fight Jacobs and then fight Andre. And not for nothing, but I've tried to be objective with this DAZN deal. But outside of the Super Series fights, we got a pretty decent fight with Bellew. Joshua Povetkin was okay, but pretty much we knew what was going to happen in those fights. We didn't have any 50-50 fights on DAZN yet. These were all fights that, with exception to the Super Series. Eddie Hearn has promised us all these fights, and they've all been one-sided fights. We all knew what was going to happen in these fights. There was no surprises. None of these fights were epic. We didn't get a Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder in any of these fights. So now the pressure is on. And Eddie Hearn never really signed, all these American fighters. He put offers out there, and everyone laughed at him. I think that something's got to happen. Something's got to happen, and they got to do something big to get people's interest in the zone. Because right now, I mean, I have it. I'm glad that I get to watch these fights, but I haven't had. There's not been that wow factor yet for me. And I don't know about you. Have you had that wow factor yet with this app?
No, but I'll tell you what. I was telling my dad tonight. We were watching the fights, and I said, you know why I like this better than like HBO or Showtime and even pay-per-view in a lot of ways, because not necessarily the fights. I mean, the fights so far have been better on Showtime. I think they'll get better on these apps or whatever, but the fights obviously are better on Showtime. I don't think there's any question about that.
Showtime's killing it.
Showtime's the king, they're
Showtime is fucking killing it by far.
Yeah. But what I like about this is that I could watch the entire card.
That's
the bottom. I do that on ESPN. You can do that on ESPN Plus. You could do it on DAZN. I mean, you could watch it just like if you sat down in the arena at 5:30, those guys come out and they fight, and you can watch every card and you can pick and choose, like, hey, maybe I want to see Roberto Duran Jr. on, like ESPN Plus yesterday. You know, I want to watch his fight, but I'm not really interested in the other undercards. But you have the opportunity to go watch it, you know, and that opportunity is there. And I like, you know, I like that where you can watch the entire because sometimes there's up and coming prospects on there you want to see and everything like that. So
and you got an instant archive too. Like
yes.
as soon as the fight's over, and say you fell asleep or something, it's there. You can watch it the next day.
Right.
Even ESPN Plus, I don't think they archive all their fights. Like the Gilberto Ramirez fight wasn't archived. I know they're showing the replay. They showed the replay tonight at 10, but I didn't see it. I have to look for it, but I don't know if they archived it.
Right.
So
I remember back in the day, I was sending away for like VCR tapes of like some of my favorite fights, you know, like Chavez and stuff like that. And they would, you know, they would put like 3 fights to a tape or something like that. And you could buy it for so much, you know, but now everything's like archived and everything like that, which is nice, you know.
Yeah. Now, Jacobs was in the ring after the fight, standing beside Eddie Hearn.
Yeah. Now Jacobs gave an interview. This was very interesting. Jacobs gave an interview right before the Canelo fight or whatever, and where he said he's with Eddie. So if he's with Eddie, then he's on DAZN. There's no, you know, I mean, Heyman is his manager and Hearn is his promoter, you know.
What I really think Oscar wants, this is my opinion, and I could be wrong here. I think he wants to give Canelo another soft touch in May, and I think he wants to make Golovkin 3. I really think they want that third fight. I really because they know Golovkin has slipped, and they know he's continuing to slip.
Right.
They want to end this trilogy with a knockout. They're gonna try and knock him out. So whether that would happen or not, I don't know. But that's what I think the plan is. They're gonna probably have another soft touch in May, and then they're gonna try and make that Golovkin fight in September.
You're right. Nobody wants to see it. I don't know. Do you want to see a third fight? I don't want to see a third fight. I don't need to see it.
I would watch it. I would like it. I mean, I would
watch it. We're degenerates. Of course we're going to watch it.
But I would love the fight that I really would like at middleweight right now is Danny Jacobs, Canelo.
Without question.
That's my favorite fight right now at middleweight. I would love to see that. And you know what else I'd like to see? I'd like to see on Andre.
Yeah, that's a good
Andre is a horrible, is a tough, because Andre will fight tall. He will use length.
Yeah.
He's a southpaw. And he can move too. You know, and we saw I thought Lara beat Canelo when they fought. That was just I had it 8-4.
Yeah.
For Lara. I thought Lara clearly won that fight. And that was a tough style matchup for Canelo. And this would be even tougher because this is a guy, Andre, that's 6'1", and he knows how to use his length, and he could pop a bit too. You know, I think that's a tough style matchup for Canelo.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how Canelo would do against. What's funny? I used to think Jacobs would beat Canelo. I don't think so anymore because in Jacobs' last fight, Derevyanchenko, I thought, won that fight. And Derevyanchenko did very well on the inside. And Derevyanchenko's not as fast as Canelo.
No.
So I think Canelo will work his way inside against Danny Jacobs. And I think he could do some damage up close.
Oh, for sure.
I think the body shots would be telling in that fight.
Listen, how do you – okay, so a lot of people have Loma as their top pound for pound. You know, you hear Loma, you hear Terrence Crawford, you know, Errol Spence probably sneaking up there. What about Canelo? I mean, he's got to be number one, right? From 168 to 160, 154. I mean, he's moved 3 different weight divisions.
Yeah, I mean, Crawford hasn't really had a great opponent at 147.
I gotta be honest, who's he fought?
Yeah, so
who's this big guy? Canelo's got a whole resume full of them.
Lomachenko has fought good guys, but hasn't really fought great guys. Lomachenko really needs that Mikey Garcia fight.
Yeah.
And the public really needs that Mikey Garcia fight.
Well, and you know what I think is going to happen? I think that Garcia is going to go up, and I think he's going to get beat by Errol Spence. Then I think he's going to come back down to 135 and fight Lomachenko, and I think that he's going to get beat. I think that it's going to be like it's going to be like was it Kell Brook when he fought Triple G, then went down and fought Errol Spence. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mikey would beat Lomo. I really do.
And Suleiman in the chat just said Crawford knocked out Gamboa. Yeah, but Gamboa's not. I mean, we're talking about like
how long ago?
High level guys, man.
That was a long time ago.
Corey Lee Boxing in the chat just says Usyk is number one.
You can make an argument.
Pound for pound, Usyk? No.
You make an argument.
No, you can't even make it. You can't even make that argument.
You don't think so?
No.
I don't know, man.
No. Pound for pound, he's only in one division.
Yeah, but
you said in one division.
I don't know if that really matters. I mean, like if you dominate, you dominate. You know, I mean, these guys got all the
because
belts.
You dominate up and down in weight. I mean, that's what you're looking at. What Canelo's doing. He's dominating up and down in weight.
That's some people use that as part of their criteria. My thing is just opposition, how dominant you are in your weight class, and if you and the guys unified the titles.
Bayside Boxing wants to see Canelo versus Jack Colquet next.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, Fielding, I just think Fielding froze up. Any game plan that he did have, I just think that subconsciously he just couldn't enact it. I mean, you could just tell that look on his face. Like,
how big was the Callum Smith fight? Wasn't that a big fight for him?
No, that was early in his career. That was early in both of them. It was for like
6 fights ago. Yeah.
No,
wasn't it 6 fights ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that's what they said because he's been on a 6-fight winning streak since then.
Well, let's see when that was, because they don't have, both of them don't have a lot of fights anyways.
Yeah.
Rocky Fielding doesn't have a ton of fights.
Rocky Fielding.
So let's take a look, man.
All right, I'm on BoxRec now. Let me see what we got here.
Pull it up here.
When did he get murked here? Yeah, that was a bit ago. Let's see here.
That was a while ago.
That was back in 2015. So yeah, all right. And he was 17-0 Callum Smith at the time. So yeah, all right. That was a bit ago.
You know, it was for a BBC title, you know. It was for a regional title, you know.
Yeah. All right. I'll give him that. He was young.
It was a while ago.
Young, dumb, you know.
And that was even before Callum Smith was like Callum Smith. before he was the Callum Smith that we know and love now.
All right. So, well, since you bring up Callum Smith, Canelo just dispatched a Rocky Fielding pretty quick. Yeah. Pretty dominant fashion.
Yeah.
How does he do against Callum Smith?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is gonna sound ridiculous. I would favor Callum Smith in that fight, but I think Canelo can hang with him.
Oh, I think so too.
I definitely think Canelo can hang with him. I think Canelo's still like not really peaked yet. He's still gonna get a little better. You know, how old is Canelo? Like 28, 29?
I don't know. I don't know how old he is.
Let's see how old Canelo is. You know? Freaking BoxRec Warriors tonight, baby. I hate BoxRec, but I need it tonight.
Well, we don't have Robbie around to tell us, to tell us what's what here.
I know. Yeah. He's only 28 years old.
Yeah, but you know what? He's got a lot of miles on him. 28.
A lot of fights, but like are they highway miles or city miles? You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. You know? And like I said, you know, they're not gonna. He's got an 11-fight deal, and you're not gonna get him versus Charlo. You're not gonna get him versus friggin' Jacobs. You're not. Those are not going to be the beginning of the you know, that contract of fights.
So, well, let me ask you this. So Jacobs, if he's tied to Eddie Hearn, he's going to be on DAZN. I don't think there's any question about that.
It's got to go to DAZN.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's honestly, well,
the
makes
thing
sense to be the next fight.
But isn't his deal? Wasn't his deal like a 3-fight deal with Hearn? So did he re-up with Hearn, or?
I mean, it sounded like it tonight, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he gave that interview and he said, "Hey, I'm with Eddie." Eddie was hanging all over him like a cheap suit. So
Yeah. So
It looks like it's that.
Well, now he's probably gonna say I might as well be with Eddie now because Canelo's here.
Got all the belts.
You know,
Danny Jacobs is a missing piece, right?
and if Golovkin was smart, he would go. He would probably go to the DAZN too. I know he's talking to PBC, but
what happens now? I mean, so what happens now? So let's say Jacobs goes to DAZN, or is with DAZN now.
Yeah,
they've got all the middleweight belts.
Yeah,
where does that leave the Charlos?
Charlo's going to be in trouble. That's one division. Right? That's one division that PBC is going to have problems conquering because they're not going to have any. They're not going to. They got one. They got one. 47, 154. They got the heavyweight division. They got a piece of the heavyweight division. They don't.
DAZN, and DAZN's got what 3 of the 4 belts.
Yeah.
Of the heavyweight division.
So that's the thing. I mean,
and then Anthony Joshua came on the telecast, and I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
Yeah.
But they didn't break much news with him. Chris Mannix was interviewing him, and there was no real news broken, other that he's going to fight in May. Did he say? Beeb, did you catch that? Was it March or May or something like that?
Anthony Joshua.
Was it April?
Anthony Joshua got the April 13th date already nailed down.
Okay, over at Wembley.
Over at Wembley, yeah. That's already set.
All right. Yeah, so he's got it over at Wembley, and he doesn't know who he's going to fight next. He wants to fight Wilder. That's what he's saying. He said that he would give Wilder a flat fee with incentives, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever. But, he did bring up a good point. He brought up the point of he says, what's the big deal? He said that, Wilder sold 300,000 pay-per-views here. He said, yeah, but how much of that did Wilder pocket? And he says, we can match that. He said, we can definitely match that and probably double it or whatever.
Well, I hate to say it, but the first offer that Eddie Hearn made to Wilder still more than what he's going to make for the Fury fight. So,
well, they said what are they if the numbers were 325, I think 325, then each of them they would get like 14 million and 10 million or something like that.
I don't know. I was hearing they'd probably get like 9 million and 8 million.
Yeah, it's still a lot of bread, man. But
it's a lot of bread, but it's not as much as the 15 million that he was offered to fight Joshua. So
no, but at the same time, Joshua's not getting 50 million from that fight over there.
No.
But you know what? I got to be honest, man. I got to be real honest, man. I don't blame him. I don't blame Joshua for not taking it and fighting over here. I mean, if he fights over here, he's not interested in fighting Wilder over here. He's interested in fighting, he said another American. He's not interested in fighting Wilder.
He'll fight Big Baby Miller in New York.
Yeah. But he's not going to fight Wilder over here. And you know what? I don't blame him. The judges, like I said, man, the judges in the Fury fight got it wrong. I thought Fury won the fight.
Well, to be fair,
bad judging.
The British judge had it a draw too, so he,
it doesn't matter. It's still bad judging.
Oh yeah, but I mean, but they did have a British judge, though.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. So we'll see what Joshua does next. But I tell you what, I'll be really disappointed if he takes that Cinco de Mayo date and fights Terriano Johnson. That's a horrible fight. Or he fights David Lemieux. And I understand from a promoter's aspect why he wants to fight David Lemieux. I don't know if he wants to fight him, but I understand why Oscar wants that fight done. He promotes both of them, so it makes sense. They're both under Golden Boy, so yeah. It makes sense. But I don't know, man. I think the calculated risk is Jacobs because I think he beats Jacobs. I really do.
I think he beats him too.
Yeah, because I don't want to see another Golovkin fight. I don't think there's a reason for it. I want to see Golovkin go elsewhere and fight fight somewhere else.
Did you have Canelo win in the second fight?
I think I had it a draw, if I'm not mistaken.
You had it a draw.
I thought Golovkin came on later in the fight and did enough to make it a draw. But I had Canelo winning, early rounds. But I had that fight a draw. I had the first fight, I had Canelo, Triple G winning clear. I mean, that was like a 116, 112 fight.
So you didn't enjoy those two fights though? Like
I did, but here's the thing, man. When you get lousy decisions, I don't want to see the fight again.
So,
I want to see it again.
so do you think that the second fight that Canelo should have won that, or you think it was a bad decision?
Yeah.
'Cause I had Golovkin winning both fights.
Yeah, I don't even know if it was a bad decision so much as we saw it.
You know what I
We
want?
saw the
You
fight.
know what
And I think that here's my deal is that I think if those two fought 10 times, you could flip a coin and say,
Marquez
who
Pacquiao.
won, draw.
But see, Marquez Pacquiao was like that for 3 fights, and then the 4th fight we had a dramatic knockout.
Yeah, and I think you're going to probably get the knockout. I don't think it's Triple G's not fighting. He's not he's just not as active as he used to be. He's definitely slipping.
And then De La Hoya said on First Take, he was like, "Yeah, but I mean, I would like for them to fight 5 times." And then Stephen A's like, "Oh, that's not fair."
He's coked, man. I'm telling you, he's coked up. Did you see the footage of him in the locker room today? He's over there with Canelo, and he's in the locker room, and he's talking to Canelo, and he's just bouncing around like he's gonna fight. And then he rubs his nose a couple times. Like, I'm telling you, man, he's on. He's on.
I'm worried about that guy.
I'm not worried about him at all.
You see how he's aged? He's aged so quickly too. He's
what drugs do, son.
He looks like he's 50 now.
Ages you up.
Beard's great.
Lifestyle.
I mean,
he's clean, lives clean. Look how young he looks.
Yeah, I don't feel young. All my joints are killing me.
He's probably in a wheelchair right now doing the show. Yeah.
Come home from the gym. I got freaking heat packs on me.
Look at Beef, still going to the gym, man. Look at him, rocking it.
Horrible.
Joe Lopez in the chat just said you look 25.
Thank you, Joe. I'll be sending you a Christmas card this year.
Kung Fu Jitsu in the chat just says, but you don't like close fights, Eric. No, that's not the case. It's not that I don't like close fights. It's just that, in that first fight, it wasn't a close fight. It was a bad decision. I don't like watching bad decisions because I feel like you're going to get a bad decision the next fight.
So you feel like no matter what, there's always going to be some type of controversial decision when they fight.
Yes.
And
I don't want to see it.
You're never going to have
a clear winner,
a conclusive winner.
Right. That's my feeling on it. As long as it ends in a decision, you're never going to have a conclusive winner. And I just don't. I don't really have a desire to see it again.
I got you.
And again, the longer they go, I mean, the more it favors Canelo and the less it favors Golovkin. And I think that was their plan all along, is that they kept kind of stringing him along when they thought he was like a court low, and then then they all of a sudden they take the fight, and which whatever.
How old was Mayweather when he fought Canelo? Who was he, like 36?
I don't know.
He's 41 now, and he fought Canelo in 2013? Yeah, he's like 30. He was 36 years old when he fought Canelo. And then Canelo was like 23, I think. And then everyone's like, oh, Canelo was green. He was this, he was that.
Yeah, I think he was like.
And Mayweather.
When he fought Canelo for that first time, I think Canelo was 14 or something like that, or 14 or 15.
He's 23 years old, and he had like 40-something fights. And everyone's like, oh, he was already a champion. He already had beaten Trout. You know what I mean? It's like, and everyone's like, he's green. And Mayweather was 36 years old. He was old,
right?
And then they were like, they used to criticize Mayweather for fighting, guys when they were past their prime. You could argue that Canelo waited for Golovkin to get old. They waited for him to look.
I think they did. Yeah, I think they did. I mean, he wasn't. I mean, they weren't knocking on his door when he was knocking guys out left and right.
No,
they waited till after the Jacobs fight.
Yeah, they saw the Jacobs. They saw the Jacobs fight. They saw some slippage, and they jumped right on that.
Yeah,
and even with that, the fights. I still thought he lost both fights.
Right,
but it is what it is. Doesn't matter what I thought. The judges freaking overruled me. But
there were some comments in the chat about DAZN, the commentary being awful, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But I gotta agree with you here. Yeah. Tony Yayo says DAZN needs to hire Montero or Steve Kim. Hey, what about us? We're pretty good too, no? I mean, we're all right. We can call a fight a little bit,
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
We can call a fight a little bit, Beeb.
Oh yeah, I'd love to do it.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not impressed with DAZN, their whole,
the announce team. Yeah,
not even just the announce team, but everybody on DAZN, like every on-camera personality at DAZN. You know what they need to do is I saw who was it, the president, AVK, Andrew V. Kennedy on Twitter, and I retweeted it. He said that DAZN needs to get Roy Jones and Jim Lampley over there, and I think he's right. I think he's right. They need to get rid of Sugar Ray and that other fool from ESPN and put those two guys on there.
Yeah, I love Sugar Ray to death, but
yeah, it's not his gig, man.
He just brings nothing to the table, man.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He was saying a lot of like weird stuff tonight. I'm just like, just nonsense.
He just speaks in like just very vaguely about
general, real general terms, you know.
Yeah, really just general. It doesn't really go into depth about anything.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think of him? Oh, he's really good.
Great.
He's a good puncher. He's just great. He's just great.
He's a professional boxer on like a main event card. He's pretty good. Yeah, he can punch.
I love the guy. He's my favorite fighter of all time. But I mean, he's just a horrible commentator.
He's terrible.
Brings nothing to the table.
He's terrible.
What do you think of him? Oh, he's great.
You know who they need to get? If they wanted to get serious, if DAZN really wants to get serious, they need to bring in Teddy Atlas. The GOAT, son.
Oh, come on.
The GOAT, son. He's a Hall of Famer.
Why are they going to bring him up, man?
He's a Hall of Famer. Come on, BB's a Hall of Famer, son. You know the deal.
I can't deal with all that screaming and yelling and the friggin' shaking and friggin' face turning red. And it's like,
it's Teddy Atlas, boy. That's the guy right there.
It's like all those crazy analogies. I don't know, man.
Your piranhas.
Yeah.
Bugs on the windshield.
It's got to take little bites. Gotta take little bites.
The fireman. Bugs on the windshield.
You believe in magic?
Reese Mack just said in the chat, he says, is Bobby Ches busy, you know? He's busy working at that supermarket. I don't know, man. Bobby Ches is really good. He was a really good commentator back in the day, man. Member of Mensa, just like me. And, you know, he's good, but I think he's had a lot of problems since then, man. I don't know. But last I heard, he was working at that drugstore or something. Wasn't it a drugstore?
He's bagging groceries.
Yeah, up, I think it was in Jersey, wasn't it? Was it Jersey? I don't know.
Yeah, he's from Jersey. He has a real serious alcohol problem. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, he was good, though, man.
He's an outstanding commentator.
Good commentator, good fighter.
He's trying to get back into it, you know. But
I hope so. I hope he makes it in, man, because he was very good back in the day.
You know, it's a shame.
He was a good guy.
It's a shame.
Ellie Sekbach. Jason's got a man crush on that dude.
Why do you like that guy so much?
Because he likes to know what fighters taste, you know, have for breakfast and stuff.
Oh my god!
He likes to see Ellie Sekbach waking up in somebody's house and feeding the fighters breakfast. He likes to know what their favorite color is, and yeah,
he likes to talk about, you know, Tupac coming out to the ring, but he couldn't have come out to the ring because he was dead at the time that he allegedly came out to the ring. According,
what was that? What was that question, man? You remember it was it Soulja Boy and Chris Brown when they were getting ready to fight or something like? There was like talk that they were actually going to fight.
He was interviewing Don Turner too, right? And he's asking Don Turner about Tupac. Don Turner is like, he's fucking 80. He doesn't know who the fuck Tupac is.
Right.
What the fuck does Don Turner care? Do you remember the Holyfield fight when he fought Tyson? And Tupac came out to the ring? No, that was fucking when he fought Bruce Seldon, you idiot.
Hell, nothing, son. Like I said, he's a nice guy. He's a hard worker, man, but Jesus, his interviews are just horrible.
Horrible. What does it feel like? What does it feel like to do that? What does it feel like? I just think he has like a template of questions, and he just asks everyone the same questions.
Yeah, and you know what? And like I know what he's doing when he'll ask questions, and he'll ask them, you know, what we consider to be like really stupid questions, like what do you like to eat or what's your favorite color and stuff like that. I know he's buying time. I get what he's doing. He's trying to buy time and think of something like legit to ask to put on there. It just doesn't work, man.
But it's the same set of questions
all the time.
For every fighter. It's like
all the time. And no news really breaks.
You're a big star. How does it feel to have everyone love you? It's like
he asked, what was it? Who's the welterweight? Who's the guy that fought Adrian Bronner, the welterweight Tigre? What's his name, man? He fought Sean. The guy fought Sean Porter.
Oh, Adrian Granados.
That was him. Right.
Granados,
yeah, the Tigre. So he was asking Adrian Granados. I was right there with him because I was at the presser. And we were talking to Adrian Granados, and he asked him, he's like, what are your thoughts on Soulja Boy Chris Brown? And I just busted out laughing. I was like, is he seriously asking this question, son? Oh, my God.
Fucking stupid, man.
Look at Jason in the chat. He really likes Ellie, man.
Hey, what's your favorite fantasy football team?
I think he would sleep with Ellie if he gave him the chance.
Jason, you don't really like Ellie, do you?
Yes, he does. Yeah, he does. He totally does. He's got like pictures of him on his own wall and everything like that.
Notorious VC, he wants me to do the watch that 30 for 30 on ESPN 42.
You see it yet?
No, I gotta see it.
What are you doing with your life, son?
Wants me to do a review on it.
It's awesome.
Is it good?
Yeah, we'll do one tomorrow. We can do one tomorrow, man, because I saw it today. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Not a whole lot you didn't know already. You know what I mean? Not a whole lot you didn't know already, but it was good.
But it's on the ESPN Plus app, anyways. You could watch it anytime you want.
Yeah.
42-1.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, but it was pretty good. I liked it. We were watching it today. It goes into, it focuses more on Buster. I heard that Mike Tyson didn't want to be a part of that.
Was he?
No. He didn't want to be a part of it, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably still has probably the wounds are still fresh.
Yeah.
The wounds are still fresh for Iron Mike, baby.
Right. Insane.
Well.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it here.
It's only a 3-round fight.
It's only a 3-round fight, right?
Not much to talk about. Hey, Rocky.
Especially when one guy didn't want to fight. Well, let me ask you this before we check out of here. What did you think? How disrespectful was it that they introduced Canelo last?
Yeah, it was kind of bad.
That was pretty disrespectful, right?
Yeah, man. That just.
But let me tell you this. But the way Fielding fought, you know what? He deserved it. He deserved it. He fought terrible.
Sweet Caroline.
Just for coming out to that music alone, he deserved it. That's your Boston Red Sox, isn't it? The Boston Red Sox thing.
No, well, yeah. We do that too at Red Sox games too. But a lot of UK fighters come out to that. Anyone from the UK in the chat? Why do fighters come out to Sweet Caroline? Why do a lot of UK fighters come out to Sweet Caroline?
I don't know.
Anyone in the chat know that?
Yeah.
Wow. We'll talk about Ramirez tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, we'll talk about all that stuff tomorrow.
Yeah. That was a good fight, though.
He's a bum. No, he's not a bum. He's a champion. He's undefeated, right?
Fucking hurt his elbow in the fight.
Yeah.
Still won.
Is he a bum?
Fucking bum.
All right, guys. Make sure to catch us tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. 7 in the East, and what is it, 4 in the West?
4 in the West.
7 in the East and 4 in the West. So catch us tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel on Sunday. So we'll go over all the fights. We'll go over all the undercards and all that other good stuff. And then we'll have a train wreck of the week. And not much news this week, though, right?
No, not a ton.
I didn't think a lot of time, but some good fights and then some good fights upcoming. We'll preview the Charlo's fights. We got interesting news on the Charlo fight coming up. So stay tuned for that. And it should be more solidified tomorrow.
Is this fight going to be train wreck of the week?
I got something in mind for train wreck of the week, but this fight may have just trumped it. So you know what? I think we might start it off. Yeah, I think that might start off as train wreck.
Was this the worst fight on DAZN?
This might have been the worst fight in history. This was awful. And again, I don't blame Canelo for anything. I think Canelo came there to fight. Canelo came there to put on a show and do what he does. Unfortunately, Fielding just didn't feel the same way about things, you know? So it is what it is.
All right.
All right. We will catch you tomorrow.
Have a great one, guys.